Daniel. Daniel lives alone in his single-bedroom apartment near the East Side River in Astoria, New York. This is the first time he has been living alone in 3 years after going through a very bad breakup. The last 3 years was truly beautiful for him, but now it feels like he was in a delusion. Elena, the woman he loved more than anything in the world, cheated on him. Daniel was so deluded that he didn't even doubt or suspect anything. He was planning to propose to Elena, but then out of guilt or perhaps desiring a different life, Elena confessed to Daniel and broke up with him. Ever since, Daniel has been alone. He promised himself he would never allow this to happen to him again. He is in his 30s. He has a stable job. He's paying off his auto loan and his apartment mortgage. He has no worries. Daniel was adamant never to allow himself to be vulnerable. No one was going to be able to hurt him or play with his emotions, because Daniel was never going to trust any woman again. Perhaps he would never be in love again. His friends had been trying to cheer him up, trying every trick in the book, but nothing seemed to work. Even his neighbor, Mr. Harris, had noticed a sudden change in Daniel. "Young man, how have you been doing?" "I'm all right." "Dan, you never express yourself. You always keep everything to yourself. If you don't release your pain, it will take you to a very dark place." "I know, you're right. You're probably the only one who can understand." Mr. Harris, the lone army man. He was serving in Vietnam when he received a letter from his brother that his wife was pregnant, but he hadn't been home for 18 months. He had been living alone ever since he returned for more than 20 years. In simple words, Daniel was hurt, and perhaps it was time that could only heal Daniel, because he truly loved Elena. Elena, the quintessential woman. Elena tried to contact Daniel and his friends to make sure he was fine, but Daniel wasn't interested, and his friends were now full of despise, except for the ones who wanted to keep opportunities open for hooking up with her. Friends. Elena expected Daniel to get aggressive when she confessed her disloyalty, but Daniel was just quiet. He took things very differently. He was very composed, tensed, but composed. In fact, it frightened Elena a little bit, but then Daniel simply cut off all connections with her. Ever since, she has been with other men. But something kept on nudging Elena inside. Did she make a mistake? Was Daniel a better choice as a man? She always thought Daniel was too ordinary, too simple, too trusting. Her relationship with Daniel was beautiful, but boring for her. No thriller. Wait, no. Thrill was there. Adventure was there. What lacked was the adrenaline rush of doing something wrong. Elena herself had a stable job. She was not exactly a gold digger, but then, which woman wasn't? Maybe just a little bit? In the turning events of the future, would there be a chance if Elena could go back to Daniel? Would he ever take her back? It was the start of fall. It's been 5 months. Daniel loved rain, the cool breeze of the river. Every evening he would come home tired and exhausted. He would freshen up and go to the pizzeria nearby and order sandwiches or pizza for takeout, after which he didn't return home. He goes to the bank of the East Side River and just looks out at the river for hours. His friends and family members had advised him not to do this, as they were afraid that Daniel would become more depressed. But in reality, Daniel used to find a strange peace and happiness in doing this. He was quite changed now. Before, he was overwhelmed with his life, planning future with Elena, sometimes partying with his friends, and spending the holidays with his family. But now it seemed like that life was fake. His friends and family members may think Daniel has cut himself off from the world, just going to work and being by himself. But the truth of the matter was, Daniel had finally gotten to his senses. He was never like this. He was smart and intelligent. Perhaps trust and happiness blunts people's minds. It's the friction of difficulty that keeps mind sharp. Daniel had returned to his old, observant self. He started taking keen interest in strangers, people he saw on the street, people he saw on the subway, people he saw at the bank of the East Side River. The young woman he saw returning home every Friday near midnight. She must have been in her mid-20s. Every Friday, she got off the subway at Astoria Ditmars around 11 p.m. She walked straight towards the East Side River, stopping in between under the idol of a church for a small prayer. She does this every Friday. Perhaps she works late on Fridays. Maybe on other days she returns home early, around 7 to 9 p.m., but Daniel wasn't sure. In a way, she was Daniel's neighbor. Maybe not immediate neighbor, but neighbor. They both lived in Ditmars around the East Side River. Vivian. Vivian lives with her roommate near the East Side River. She's a New Yorker, but not truly a New Yorker. She moved to New York City from Buffalo, New York. She works at Binham, and every Friday she attends night college for classes. Only day of the week she returns home late. She was shy, an introvert. She tried to avoid partying, and even if she went to parties, she was always quiet. Her roommate thought it was because she was religious, or maybe because she didn't have any family members in the city. Vivian never did anything crazy. But for some time now, she had been noticing a man watching her. Who is he? The roommate, Eva. She lives life to the fullest. At 17, she dropped out of high school and left her parents' house and moved in with her boyfriend. Guess how that turned out. Now she works at a pizzeria near the East Side River. She even took a chance at renting an apartment nearby and got really lucky when she found a wonderful roommate, Vivian. She wouldn't have been able to pay the rent by herself, and Vivian was the most easygoing girl. She really liked Vivian. Her innocence, a deep affection had grown for her. Maybe a friend, maybe more than a friend. For the last couple of months, Eva has had a regular customer. He orders almost the same thing every evening, sandwiches or pizza for takeout, and he always leaves a good tip. The next Friday, Daniel decided to approach this unknown woman. "Hello, I'm Daniel." "Hi." "Eva is a friend of mine. I'm also one of her regular customers. I thought I would introduce myself to you." "Oh, so you're Eva's friend. I really thought you were a creep following me." "Well, in a way it's true. I took your number from Eva, but I thought it would be better if I approach you in person." "Well, it would have been better, but now I'm not so sure. Maybe you have other creepy secrets." "Believe me, I don't. I've been dumped for being too normal." "Really? To be honest, I know who you are. Eva told me before she gave you my number. I told Eva about you when I saw you the first day, and she deduced it was you. You know how Eva is, tough and possessive. If a creep is following me, he would be in big trouble." It was after a long time that Daniel had a good laugh with someone. He was in a good mood when he returned home, just until he received a call. "Hello, Dan. How are you?" "Get to the point. Why did you call?" "Sorry to bother you, Dan, but I think I left an office file. It's blue. Can you please drop it at my office tomorrow morning?" "I'm busy. Get it yourself." "All right, I'll come by tomorrow morning before work." "No, not good for me. Be here sharp at 7 p.m. and take your file." "Why are you being like this? Have you lost all your civility? Or all that was fake? Hello? Dan?" It was 7:23 p.m. Daniel was getting ready for his first dinner date in months with Vivian. She was supposed to arrive at around 8 at the subway, and here Daniel was, irritated by the fact that Elena was going to come. What a day to go through all this. He should have told Elena to come at 6. "You're late. Are you not going to invite me in?" "I don't have time." Why are you treating me like this? I'm trying to be civil. I'm trying to be your friend. I have no wish for your friendship. Please take your file and leave. Really? So all those feelings you had for me, they're all gone? Or were they just there because I was sleeping with you? Leave. Daniel dropped the file on the floor and closed the door. He was disgusted. Elena didn't have any consideration for his love. She cheated on him, and now she had the nerve to question if he had feelings for her, or was she just trying to create a scene in front of the neighbors? It must have been his disregard for attention and passiveness that hurt her. Elena picked up the papers, almost teary, and left the building. She walked to the bank of the East Side River and sat down to breathe and think things through. Did Daniel ever care for her? If he did, how could he treat her like this now? Or was he so strong that he could overpower his feelings? He didn't even react when she confessed to him. Did she really make a mistake? Should she not have broken up with him? Well, what she had heard from his friends, he was upset after the breakup. But what she experienced now, it's like he didn't even care for her at all. Elena held her face as tears overflowed from her eyes. I wish you cared for me. Suddenly, Elena felt a hand on her shoulder. You? After Elena had left, Daniel hurried to the subway to meet Vivian. And luckily, he was just on time. You're late. Late? I'm not late. You're early. Super early. I knew you were a creep. Guys are always late. It's always the creeps who are early. Come on, let's go. The BIIPD found the remains of a young woman in her mid-20s floating in the East Side River in the vicinity of Astoria Park on late Friday night. At first, the police had assumed it to be an accident, but after seeing the condition of the remains, the police suspect someone has been behind this. The remains have been taken to the forensic morgue for further analysis, where the police have successfully been able to identify the woman as a 26-year-old Elaina Laron. Click on the subscribe button and check out more awesome videos on our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon because you know it's interesting.